Yeah.
I mean, it's another example of what you're talking about when your numbers call to deliver.
Yeah, and you need everybody, and you don't know when that's going to happen. It might be the backup left tackle, or it might be you just don't know who it's going to be. But Carnell has played good football for us all year, and you knew we were going to need everybody on offense, and we're going to need him in this game as well. He's going to have an opportunity to have great matchups, and he's got to win. I thought he did that in the game, and you can see all season him getting better and better.
Does the way he played on the bigger stage at all affect maybe how teams try to cover JJ?
I don't know. Every team looks at it differently. That's why we want balance, but Carnell has been working on it every day in practice, and even when he had the drop early in the game, nobody flinched. We know what Carnell can do, and then he went on to play a very, very good game, and so we're in a rhythm now. We played in a bunch of big games, so I feel like it's a matter of us being at our best and maximizing our talents right now. I don't think at this point it's about the fact that big games. We played a bunch of big games before. We played a lot of games. Now we got to go play our best game, and that's got to be the focus.
Dave Biddle.
You guys have played in 15 games, and it seems like, obviously guys are dealing with bumps and bruises, but it seems like all things considered, you guys are fairly fresh.
Yeah.
After playing in 15 games. What does it say about Mick and his staff and what they've been able to do?
Yeah, can't say enough. In the off season, we talked a lot about this, but we knew this was going to be a long haul all the way to where we are right now, and we needed to be fresh this time of year. Even though when you start way back in February and in January, well, around this time last year, really is where we were about a year ago. When you look all the way ahead, you say to yourself, okay, where do we need to be? How do we need to go? And it's one thing to put a plan together. That has to be on point, but it's another thing to execute it. So to your point, we'll continue that preparation this week and make sure we're fresh to go in the game. But yeah, Mick to me is the best there is in the business, and his staff is equally as good. Not only do they bring energy and passion every day, in the Woody, but also just the understanding of sports science. I think his staff does a great job of the old-fashioned work ethic and discipline and leadership and accountability and resilience mixed in with the sports science of every day taking a look at the workloads and even going into this for the first time ever in the playoffs. What was the workload? How did we adjust things, which we did, and how we practiced a little bit. Today's a big day for us.
Dylan Davis.
Ryan, earlier this season, or I guess the beginning of the season, you talked about the brick thing and building the bricks as the foundation to kind of survive these storms. There's been no shortage of storms for you this year. Now that you're here on the doorstep of the national championship, what kind of testimony has this season been for that message and what it means for this program now and moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be over 100 bricks when it's all said and done in that foundation. And when you get to this point and you look at that, it makes you realize where you are right now, and that you were able to withstand some storms along the way, which in the first day of preseason camp, that's exactly what we talked about. And but now we got to go finish it. We got to finish it. It's one thing to build the foundation up to this point. Now you got to go finish it off. And this is the first time we get a chance to finish it this week. And there's a big part of that as well. It's one thing to build the foundation. It's another thing to go finish the job. And that's what we got to get done this week.
Dan Hope.
Leadership. Certainly performance has been excellent, but it's leadership to me. It's putting a team on your shoulders. We're going against a quarterback who's an excellent leader as well, so it'll be a battle. But I've just, the way that Will can, take the team on his shoulders and, not only lead the way but also pump guys up. He's got a good positive mindset, and so we need a good week of work here in preparation for this game so he can be at his best as well.
Cameron Teague Robinson.
Ryan, beginning of the year when you gave up play calling, you mentioned obviously you got to do a lot of things, but one of the things you look forward to the most is just being with the team more instead of kind of in X's and O's. As you guys have been through the ups and downs you guys have been through, and even this run the last 6 or 7 weeks, I feel like some of that is starting to pay off. You being able to see these guys and be there for them more than maybe you would be if you were game planning all the time.
Yeah, I hope so. But during the playoffs, I can tell you, just full disclosure, I've been very much involved with it all, and just making sure that the football's right, because when you get into these playoffs, the football has to be right. But yeah, to your point, I think it was definitely the right thing to do. We'll have a chance to reflect on everything, in a couple weeks here, but we got nose to the grindstone right now, and all focus is on putting this great game plan together, practicing, getting on the field, walkthroughs, meetings. I mean, that's what we have to do as a staff, and our leaders got to lead, but we got to be at our best. So we'll look back on all that now, or in a couple weeks from now. But right now, we'll focus on this practice and making sure we do a great job today of installing what we need to get done. As I've told you before, these are the days I get the most worked up to make sure we have the right stuff for our guys to give them a chance to go play fast and aggressive.
Austin Ward.
Ryan, you say all the time that you guys won't put anyone on the field if you don't have confidence they can do the job. Going into Tennessee and going with that rotation up front, did you have any trepidation about how that was going to work? And I would imagine it's probably exceeded expectations since then, but I won't put those words in your mouth.
Well, it's been a group that's had a lot of different combinations all year, and I think it's become a very resilient group. And again, they have to be at their best this week. They got to finish the job, and a big part of this game is going to be up front on both sides of the ball. We know that they're very, very good up front on both sides of the ball, physical the way they play. So, those guys need to have a good week of practice. But to your point, resilience is probably the word that I use the most there. Just overcoming. Difficult situations throughout the year, some really good moments, some tough moments, but that's football. And, I think Justin and that whole group has stuck together, and because of that, they've become stronger in the back end, and now it's got to pay off in this game, and that's what we got to lean towards, in this game is the fact that, they've been through some great moments together and been through some other difficult times that they've learned from and grown from. So I think they should be going into this game with the utmost confidence.
Bill Rabinowitz.
Every other national championship Ohio State's won kind of came out of the blue. 68 sophomores, 2002, 2014. This is the first time you win it where a team that was a prime contender actually did it. You guys speak to the pressure that comes with being a favorite at Ohio State and just getting to this point.
To think too much about that right now is kind of over here, and I'm with you. I think you're dead on, and I think it's worth a lot of conversation. I think when you start to get into that, though, as a coach or as a player, it can be a distraction. And one of the things that we're trying to do this week is eliminate all distractions. Like, what's happened in the past doesn't matter. What's happening moving forward doesn't matter. All that matters is winning this game right now, and then we can kind of figure out what that is. And I think, pressure, whatever you call it, the way that you just continue to work during those moments is to focus on right now and just focus on your job and focus on what's in front of you, because the rest of it doesn't matter. And that's kind of what I'm going to focus on right now. I do think that there's great conversation to be had about that down the road and what comes with it, because it isn't the same as a lot of other places. It's just different. But I'm proud of our guys and the way that we've stuck together throughout the year. And so now we're just going to have a great day of practice. That's it. And no distractions.
Jeremy Birmingham.
Ryan, I don't know how many times in Ohio State history that you played a non-conference opponent 3 straight years.
Right.
How valuable is it? What are the pros and cons of that? And when you're talking about last week doesn't matter, you've said that over and over in the last month. Does last year matter? Does 2 years ago matter? How do you?
I think there's a reference point in this game because, you took a look at Tennessee, you take a look at Texas, those games, we didn't really know because they were in the SEC, and sometimes you're not sure exactly how to compare. Oregon we did going in. This team we do. Now they're different than they were last year, but still very similar. So, this game will be the 3rd time we play them in 3 years. So, the majority of our guys and certainly the older guys have played these guys before. So they know what a great team this is, and they know, how good they are. So, that point, it's not a Big Ten team, but at the same time, again, 3 times in 3 years. I think that's good for our guys to understand who they're playing against.
How do you, as a coach, not go into this expecting a rock fight like the last 2 years, or do you just say that's what it's going to be and that's how we're going to?
No, every year is different. Every game is different, and how we want this to turn out is going to be based on our execution. That's it. And so that's why we got to go in really, really prepared, play with great confidence, and attack from the first play.
Spencer Olbrook.
When we first talked to you about Luke Montgomery in preseason last year, you said everything you put into Luke, you're going to get out. I think the last game was his first start.
Yep.
To see the progression that he's made from being in contention for that tackle spot to the guard, and now trusting him to start in his first game in the college football playoff semifinal. Like, what have you seen from him that made you guys think that, like, yeah, he's ready for that moment and that he's going to be ready for it?
Every day in practice, you just see a guy who brings it, and he's got great athleticism. And the thing that I've noticed is now that we've gotten into the games, he's allowed to let his competitive nature show, and that you're feeling him on the field. And that's not always easy to do in practice, but you're seeing him in big moments step up, and he's going to need to in this game. They're good inside, they're quick inside, they do a lot of movement, and so very penetrating defense. So this would be a big game for him, to solidify himself moving forward. But to say that we expected him to play like this, I think that we did, because we see him this way in practice every day. And so it's allowed us some flexibility in the inside, and we played with depth in the offensive line that we didn't expect to happen, but it did. And so I think him being next to Carson, who's playing with more confidence, Donnie and Josh. I mean, you're just seeing guys in there who have now played a lot more football than maybe in the past. And so anytime you go into a game, you learn from that experience and you play the next game with more confidence. And so I think they've talked to him about that, and he's fed off of those older guys.
Stephen Means.
Ryan, you've spent a lot of time this year going back to Big Ten meeting days talking about the idea of leaving no doubt this year.
Right.
I know you've always applied that to an individual game more than micro, not let things come down to one play. But given how the last couple of years have gone, can that be a macro conversation?
1,000%.
With, what a national championship could do for that conversation that you've been trying to have.
That's it. That's it. You got to leave no doubt. That's it. And whether it's a game or a season, that's it. We got to finish this thing the right way. And whether you're talking about that foundation and building what you wanted to get done this season and finishing it the right way, or leaving no doubt, I mean, all those things come into play. And it was all about for this moment right here. So we've been working towards this moment, and now we just got to go again, have a great week of practice, and then as we get later in the week, start really diving into taking care of our minds, bodies, and souls to go play in this game, because it's going to be a battle.
Got time for two more. Whitney Harding.
Hey, Ryan. You guys were looking for a quarterback to bring in the offseason with the transfer. You guys could have brought in anybody. It's Ohio State. What was it about Will that you knew he was the guy for this program in this moment? And has he grown into that, or did you know, yes, this guy is special for what we need?
Yeah, you never know for sure, but you try to do the best you can when you're, putting a roster together. You do everything you possibly can to make sure you have everything you need, in the right combination of talent, culture fits. But with Will, Will brings so many great things to the table, and his leadership is at the forefront of it all. And I know in a short period of time he's had a huge impact on Ohio State. And I know he wants to finish this thing the right way, because we've also had an impact on him in our program. So I think that part has been a great marriage back and forth. And so, yeah, I know he's really focused on this game. He's already jumped into the game plan, and he's excited about playing in this one.
Tony Gerben.
Ryan, what is the difficulty in facing a team in a program like Notre Dame that just finds a way over and over again?
Yeah, resilient, tough, well coached, and so that allows or forces us to make sure we're playing very, very efficiently across the board. We have to play a clean game. We can't beat ourselves. We got to make sure that we're the best version of ourselves in this game. That's it, and be really, really aggressive and make sure that we're running the ball on defense. We're tackling really, really well. Getting off the field on third down. Running the football and being physical and controlling the game. And when it's time to make plays downfield, we got to make them. So special teams will be a challenge. They do a great job. They're creative in what they do, and you've seen them run fakes and different things. So we have to be on high alert for different things there, trying to steal a possession. So they challenge in a lot of different ways, and they're a very good team.
Great. Coach, thank you very
All
much.
right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ryan.